Hello everybody, this is Dee from Dee's Cute and Crafty, and what are we going to make today? You're going to need some ribbon, you're going to need some twigs, you are going to need, well, you don't necessarily need these, but I have these little wood leaves from Hobby Lobby. I've got one of the wooden Dollar Tree signs. I think they come in a pack of 6. I have some of the Dollar Tree pumpkins. They come in a pack of 8. And then I have one of the Dollar Tree pumpkins that was on the little box. I just broke that off because I wanted a bigger one for the center of this sign that we'll be making. I have some Dollar Tree orange paint, my own white chalk paint, and some Hello Hobby sage paint. I have a few pieces of greenery, some jute, and one of the Dollar Tree picture frames. So we are going to be making a farm fresh pumpkin sign. Thank you so much for stopping by today, for clicking on my video. I truly appreciate you being here. If it is your first time here, please give it a thumbs up if you like what you see. Consider subscribing. I would love to have you as part of the Cute and Crafty family. And if you've been here before, I thank you so much for coming on back. So now we are just taking that matte frame or matte backing off of the frame, cutting off that jute that runs in the middle of the frame. We're going to leave the hanger portion on. Saves us a step from having to make one. Now I'm just taking this beautiful rust-colored wheat print ribbon that I got from Joann Fabrics, measuring it out along the frame just to make sure I have enough, because I want to be able to fold it back around that black matting to glue it on the back. Also taking a coordinating ribbon, some of this pumpkin ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I love this stuff. It is good quality and it is awesome ribbon. It's so pretty. Just putting my pumpkins down just to give me an idea of how I want them to sit before I get them painted. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that ribbon down, just adding a few dots. Trying not to add a lot of glue because it does bleed through. Now I'm just laying down my silicone mat. I love to paint on this. I should use it more often. It's an easy cleanup. So I'm going to paint the biggest pumpkin in the middle with that Dollar Tree orange paint. And this paint has been altered. I added some Tuscan Sun by Hello Hobby, and I also added some Burnt Sienna by Apple Barrel. And that gave it a more rust color look to it, if that makes any sense. It doesn't show up as well on camera, but in person it's really, really pretty. So that's what's in that bottle. Paint that I kind of tweaked and made my own. So I'm going to paint one of these pumpkins in the orange. I'm going to paint one in my homemade chalk paint in the color Buttermilk. And I'm going to paint another one in the Hello Hobby Sage Green. Now I'm going to go and paint my farm fresh words in my homemade white chalk paint. And this is just, again, one of those Dollar Tree plaques with the saying on it. And I just cut it apart. It's easy to cut with scissors. Just be very careful because they will break. My M broke and I just glued it back together. Once you get it painted, you'll never know. Just going in with my pencil and adding some lines, just giving the lines of definition that a pumpkin has, and just smudging it out with my finger. Now I'm going back in with my Waverly Antique Wax and darkening those lines up a little bit more. And I'm going to play with these lines for a while. I'm going to darken them, I'm going to lighten them, I'm going to sand them. I'm going to keep messing with them until I get them to where it looks good to me. Going in with a little bit of that homemade chalk paint in the color buttermilk and softening those lines up a little bit. Just giving it a little more shadowing, shading, definition, all of the things. All of the things, you guys. And now I'm just going to add some hot glue to the back and get these glued down. This is so simple and so stinking cute. I love this one. Now I'm just taking some of the twigs that I got out of my yard and I'm going to add them for the stems. I love using natural wood pieces for stems that I found in the yard, or cork or something like that that's more organic. I really like doing that. It just takes the piece to the next level. It's a simple piece, so the devil is in the details, if you get what I mean. You know, it's a simple piece, but when you add the details, that really brings it to life. So right here, I'm just adding in some greenery. I have some lamb's ear that I cut down small to fit. I've got some boxwood that I'm going to put on there. I'm going to add a jute bow to each one of them. Now I'm just placing my Farm Fresh on the black matting just to see how it looks, get it straightened, you know, see if I like the placement before we add those adorable wooden leaves in the middle. That is so cute. I love those little leaves. Got them from Hobby Lobby, and I believe they were 40% off. I went on a day when almost everything, all of their autumn or fall decor was 40% off, and I loaded up. All right, now it is done. Let's move on to DIY number 2. This is going to be the simplest wreath ever. And it kind of puts me in mind of the tulip wreath that everybody was making in the spring that I didn't get to make because I never found the quality of tulips that I wanted to use to make the wreath, so I never made one. But this is made with all mums, and I got inspiration from this right off of Pinterest. I saw this wreath very similar to it, fluctuation in flowers color really, but the same wreath. And I knew that I had to try my hand at it and add my own flair to it. So I am going to be adding some leaves in between each bunch of flowers just for definition. But other than that, that's it. And all I'm going to do, I'm not gluing anything down. I am just going to wire everything to the wreath so that if I want to use these mums again, I can take it all apart and reuse my florals and not have glue stuck to everything. And I'll be using floral wire, but you can use zip ties, you can use twine, you can use pipe cleaner, whatever you want to use to get your flowers on the wreath is up to you. I'm going to use the floral wire because that's what I have readily available to me. So I'm just going to wrap the floral wire around the base of the florals before I cut the ends off. And I don't cut the ends completely off. I do leave a little bit of that stem because it's going to help me to adhere my flowers to the wreath. This is a wreath that I picked up at Walmart, and I believe it is either a 12-inch or 14-inch wreath. I'm feeling it's more like a 12, but after you get all the flowers on it, it's big. Just sticking the stems down between the wire, going more in that middle area of wire. And then I will go ahead and add my floral wire to that. And then wherever I can bend and pull those stems down into the wire wreath and then pull them back up and bend them down again, like weaving them in and out, I'm doing that too. And it does really make those tight. Once you get all those flowers pushed together on there, it's really secure with the floral wire and just weaving the stems in and out of the wreath. This comes out really cute, and it's so simple. Now I'm just twisting the piece of the wire in the back to help secure that bush of flowers down. And cutting off any of the excess wire just so that there's nothing back there to scratch your walls or your front door or stick your fingers. And I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around, adding in bunches and blocks of color and putting the leaves in between each block of color of mums until it's full. Moving on to the next color, I have this beautiful cream colored bunch of mums, and I believe I only used 2 bunches per color because they were so full and fluffy that I didn't need more than that, and because my wreath is not that big. I'm thinking more that it's a 12-inch wreath as opposed to a 14. And I just kept skipping ahead to each color because it's just really wrapping. It's wrapping the wire around the bunch of flower and around the wreath. So it wasn't anything that you guys had to sit through. So now that I have all of my bunches of flowers on and my leaves in between, I'm going in with the same ribbon that I just used on the prior project. That ribbon will show up again on the last DIY that we're gonna do. I love it, we're gonna use it. And I'm just gonna make a hanger for it. Just going to slip it in the back. I'm finding the point of the wreath that I like the best, and I'm just going to slip it in between the wire, make a loop at the top, wrap it around itself at the bottom, and add a dab of hot glue, and it's done. Again, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. There's a million videos you could have clicked on, and I'm so blessed that you clicked on mine. Please give it a thumbs up. That helps YouTube push my little channel out, and people will see me. And my channel will grow, so that other people can see the DIYs and hopefully find inspiration in them, and I just really appreciate that. Just making a loop and wrapping that ribbon around itself at the bottom. Just going to add some hot glue. Putting my finger protectors on, which I often forget to do. And then using the fingers that don't have finger protectors on them to smash down the ribbon. Okay, and that's just life. There we go. Now I got myself together somewhat. And that is it for this wreath. It is ready to hang on your front door or on a spot on your wall in your house, wherever you would like to put it. It is ready. And it's so simple, so pretty. On to DIY number 3. This is just a bonus DIY. This is just something that I like to do with my leftover ribbon spools. I turn them into little mini risers. And I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but I just thought I'd show you how I do it. And I wanted one with a fall flair to it because I don't have one. Not with fall flair anyway. I have Farmhouse ones, but this is the first time I'm making a mini riser in a fall theme. So let's make one. Simple, easy, and cute. You need some ribbon. You need an empty ribbon spool. You're going to need some beads. I'm going to be using those Hobby Lobby wooden leaves again. You're going to need a piece of cardboard, some jute, and some scissors. Just making a circle around the bottom, tracing that out so that I can give this I don't know, spool or mini riser. I'm going to call it a mini riser. Give that a little bit more stability because the disc that's on there from the ribbon being on the spool is kind of flimsy. So I just want to put some cardboard on it to make it a little more solid. Just going to take some hot glue and get those discs glued down. Now I'm just going to take my jute cord that I got from Walmart. It's a little bit thicker than what you get at Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to start wrapping the top of this circle and just going around and around till I get the whole piece of cardboard covered. All right, now that I've wrapped the top and the bottom with that jute, I had a second thought about it. I looked at it and I thought, you know what, if I want to make this fall festive, and I do, let's add some orange paint to it. Why not? So I dry brushed it with some orange paint on that jute, and then I went ahead and painted the cardboard at the bottom and the top that you could see that does not have any jute on it. And now I'm just going to use that same ribbon and I'm going to wrap the center of this mini spool riser. And there it is, but we're not done yet. I want to embellish it again. Like I said, I want to use those little wood leaves. They're so cute, and I just really like them. So what I'm going to do is pick 2 of the leaves out that I like, and I'm going to take my little bitty tiny hand drill that I got, or hand screwdriver that I got from Dollar Tree. This little kit came from Dollar Tree. And this wood is very delicate and kind of thin, so I had to be careful with it. But that little tiny screwdriver worked perfectly for giving me a hole just big enough to thread those onto some twine. So I'm going to thread those onto some twine and add some beads and tie it around my little mini riser. It is the cutest thing. I love it, you guys. Just measuring to see how long my jute should be. Depending on how much I want it to hang in the front, determines how long I let my jute cord be. So we're just going to add some beads on. I think I'm going to put 5 on each side, either 4 or 5. Just watch. And there's my little beaded hanger. And I'm just going to tie that around the middle of that mini spool riser. Just a little bit more flair. And there she is, all done. How cute. So let's go do the reveal.